Welcome to the Everyday English Podcast, where we help you navigate your daily life and career in clear, slow English. I am Sarah, and today we are focusing on a topic that is very close to the hearts of our listeners who are working professionals. We are talking about how to sound like the expert you actually are. Many of you are between 25 and 40 years old. You have degrees, you have years of experience, and you are very good at your jobs. But when you speak English in a meeting, you feel like you sound like a student. You feel like the words you use are too simple, and that can be very frustrating.
It really can be, Sarah. I hear this from our listeners all the time. They say they feel like a completely different person when they speak their native language versus when they speak English. In their native language, they are confident and authoritative. In English, they feel limited. They feel like they are stuck using basic verbs that do not reflect their true level of seniority. I am Mark, and I am excited to go through this senior vocabulary checklist with you today. We are going to give you the tools to bridge that gap.
Exactly, Mark. We are going to look at 10 specific words that we often use in business, basic words like do, get, and tell, and we are going to give you their senior level upgrades. These are not just synonyms, they are words that carry more weight and authority in a professional setting. Before we dive into the first word, if you want to improve your professional English every single day, please subscribe to our channel. When you subscribe, you become part of a community that is dedicated to building real fluency and confidence in the workplace.
That is so true. Consistency is the key to moving from an intermediate level to an advanced professional level. So, Sarah, let's start with one of the most common verbs in the English language, the verb to do. We use it for everything. We do our work, we do a project, we do a meeting. But in a high-level sales meeting or a boardroom, doing something sounds a bit like a student doing homework. What is our senior upgrade for the word do?
Our first upgrade is the word execute. Now, in a general sense, to execute means to carry out a plan or an order. But in business, when you say you are going to execute a strategy, it sounds much more precise and professional than saying you are going to do a strategy. For example, instead of saying, we are doing a new marketing plan next month, you could say, we are going to execute a new marketing strategy next month. Mark, can you hear the difference in the tone?
I definitely can. The word execute implies that there is a complex plan and that you have the skills to make it happen successfully. It sounds very decisive. Another great alternative for do is the word implement. If you are starting a new system or a new rule at work, you don't just do the new rule, you implement the new policy. It suggests a professional process of putting a plan into action. A takeaway for our listeners here is to look at your to-do list for today. Instead of saying things you need to do, try to identify which tasks you are going to execute or implement.
That is a great exercise. It changes your mindset immediately. Our second word is another very common one, the word make. We make plans, we make suggestions, we make decisions. But sometimes make can feel a little bit weak. If you are in a meeting and you want to sound more like a leader, especially when talking about rules or systems, a great senior upgrade is the word establish.
I love that word, Sarah. Establish sounds very firm and stable. If you say, we need to make some new rules for the team, it sounds okay, but it is a bit casual. However, if you say, we need to establish some clear guidelines for the team, it sounds like you are building a strong foundation. You are being a leader. It shows that these guidelines are meant to last and be respected.
Exactly. Another one for make when you're talking about results or documents is to generate. Instead of saying, we made a lot of money last quarter, which is fine, you could say, we generated significant revenue last quarter. Or instead of saying, I made a report, you can say, I generated a report. It sounds much more technical and professional. The takeaway here is to use establish when you are talking about systems or rules, and generate when you are talking about reports, data, or money.
That brings us to our third word, which might be the most overused word in the business world, the verb to get. We get emails, we get customers, we get information, we get promoted, but get is very informal. If you want to sound like a senior manager, you should try using the word acquire or obtain.
Acquire is such a powerful word, especially in sales and growth. If you are talking about finding new clients, don't just say you are getting new customers. Say you are acquiring new accounts. It sounds like a strategic business move. It links back to that phrase we heard in the sales meeting conversation, drive sales. When you acquire something, it feels like a professional achievement. And obtain is perfect for information or permissions. Instead of saying, I need to get permission from my boss, you can say, I need to obtain approval from the director. It sounds much more formal and respectful of the hierarchy in your company. If you are talking about data, you don't just get the data, you obtain the necessary data. My takeaway for you is this. Next time you are about to say get, stop for a second and ask yourself if acquire or obtain would make you sound more like an expert. Usually the answer is yes. Our fourth word is one that we use every time we talk to our colleagues, the word tell. We tell people about our ideas, we tell the team about the deadline, we tell our boss about the progress. But tell is a bit one-directional and simple. In a professional environment, communication is key, and the word you use to describe that communication matters. A senior upgrade for tell is the word inform, or even better, brief. Brief is a fantastic word. It comes from the idea of giving someone a briefing, which is a short, concise summary of the most important information. If you say, I need to tell my team about the new project, it sounds like a casual conversation. But if you say, I need to brief the team on the new project, it sounds like you are a manager giving a professional update. It implies that you are prepared and that the information you are giving is important. It also changes the way people listen to you. If you say you are going to brief them, they prepare to take notes. If you say you are going to tell them something, they might just keep drinking their coffee and not pay full attention. Another great swap for tell is to notify. This is especially useful for formal communication. Instead of saying, I told the client about the change, you can say, I notified the client of the change. It sounds official and documented. The takeaway for our communication section is to use brief when you are giving a summary to your team and notify when you are giving a formal update to a client or supervisor. Let's move on to number 5 on our checklist. This one is about our thoughts and ideas. We often say, I am thinking about this idea, or I am thinking about how to solve the problem. As we mentioned in our Look at the Sales Meeting podcast, a much stronger word is consider. When you consider something, you are giving it professional attention. You are weighing the pros and cons. It really does sound more thoughtful, but if you want to go even deeper, you can use the word evaluate or analyze. If you say, I am thinking about the sales numbers, it sounds like you are just looking at them. But if you say, I am evaluating the sales data to find areas for improvement, you sound like an expert analyst. You are showing that you are doing more than just thinking. You are using your skills to understand the situation. I think that is a very important point, Sarah. Seniority is often about the depth of your work. Using words like evaluate and analyze proves that your work has depth. If you are a manager, you aren't just thinking about a new hire, you are evaluating the candidates. The takeaway here is to replace think about with evaluate or analyze whenever you are doing deep, professional work. Number 6 is a phrase we use when we want to be careful. Make sure. I will make sure the report is ready. I will make sure the door is locked. I will make sure the client is happy. It is a good phrase, but a more senior, executive-level word is ensure. Ensure is a very elegant word. It has a sense of a guarantee. If you say, I will make sure we meet the deadline, it sounds like a personal promise. But if you say, I will ensure that we meet the deadline, it sounds like a professional commitment. It sounds more certain and more powerful. In a business context, ensuring success or ensuring quality is what senior leaders do. And it is a very easy swap to make. You can use it in almost any situation where you would use make sure. I will ensure the team is briefed. I will ensure the strategy is executed. You can see how these senior words start to work together. The takeaway for ensure is to use it when you are taking responsibility for a result. It shows that you are in control. Now, let's talk about number 7, the word show. We show our work, we show our screen during a Zoom call, we show the results to the client. But show can sound a bit like a school presentation. A more professional upgrade is to present or to demonstrate. Present is the standard for meetings. Instead of saying, I want to show you my ideas, say, I would like to present my suggestions. It sounds like you have prepared a formal structure. And demonstrate is perfect when you are showing how something works or proving a point with evidence. Instead of saying, the data shows that we are growing, you could say, the data demonstrates our consistent growth over the last year. Demonstrate feels very evidence-based, which is exactly what people want to see in a professional setting. They want proof. Using the word demonstrate suggests that your proof is very strong. The takeaway here is to use present for your ideas and demonstrate for your evidence and data. Number 8 on our list is the word help. We all want to be helpful at work. We help our colleagues, we help our clients. But help is a very general word. If you are in a leadership position, or if you want to sound more like a consultant, you should use the word assist, or even better, facilitate.
Facilitate is a great high-level word. It means to make an action or a process easy or possible. So instead of saying, I helped the team reach an agreement, you could say, I facilitated the discussion between the two departments. This makes you sound like a skilled leader who knows how to manage people and processes, not just someone who is being nice and helping out.
It really changes the power dynamic in the sentence. Assist is also very good for formal situations. I am happy to assist you with your inquiry sounds much more professional than I am happy to help you. The takeaway for this section is to use assist for formal service and facilitate when you are describing how you managed a process or a group of people.
We are almost through our checklist, and number 9 is a very common one in our modern world, the word change. We change the plan, we change the budget, we change the schedule. But in business, change can sometimes sound negative, like something went wrong. To sound more professional and positive, you can use the word modify or optimize.
Modify is a neutral, professional word for making small changes. Instead of saying, we changed the contract, say, we modified the terms of the agreement. It sounds more like a professional adjustment. But optimize is my favorite upgrade for change. Optimize means to change something to make it as good as it can possibly be.
Yes, that is such a positive word. If you say, we are changing the website, it might mean you didn't like the old one. But if you say, we are optimizing the website for better performance, it sounds like you are making it faster, better, and more efficient. It shows that you have a goal of excellence. The takeaway for number 9 is to use modify for small adjustments and optimize when you are making something better or more efficient.
Finally, number 10 on our senior vocabulary checklist is the word solve. We solve problems, we solve issues, we solve puzzles. But at a senior level, we don't just solve things. We resolve them or we address them.
Resolve is perfect for conflicts or complex issues. If there is an argument between two employees, you don't just solve it, you resolve the conflict. It sounds more permanent and professional. And address is a great word for when you are dealing with a problem proactively. Instead of saying, we need to solve the drop in sales, you can say, we need to address the decline in revenue.
Addressing a problem sounds very professional because it implies that you are facing it directly and looking for a solution. It sounds more strategic than just solving it. The takeaway for our final word is to use resolve for conflicts or technical issues and address for strategic challenges.
That is a powerful list, Sarah. I think it would be very helpful for our listeners if we did a quick role play. Let's imagine a typical business scenario. I will be a junior employee using the basic words, and you will be the senior manager using the upgrades we just talked about. This will help our listeners hear the difference in one continuous conversation.
That is a great idea, Mark. Let's do it. I will try to use as many of our checklist words as possible. You start as the junior employee.
Okay, here we go. Hi, Sarah. I wanted to tell you that I'm thinking about the plan to get more customers. I'm doing some work to make sure we change the old way of selling so we can help the team solve the problem of low sales. I will show you my ideas later.
Wow, Mark. That sounded like a very nice, helpful student. Now, let's hear how a senior manager would say the exact same thing using our checklist. Hello, Mark. I wanted to brief you on my thoughts regarding our strategy to acquire new accounts. I am currently evaluating our processes to ensure we optimize our sales approach so I can facilitate a better workflow and address the recent decline in revenue. I will present my findings to you this afternoon.
The difference is incredible. The first version sounded like someone who was waiting for instructions. The second version, your version, sounded like someone who was in charge. It sounded like someone who was driving the company forward.
And the interesting thing is, the grammar in both versions was mostly the same. The sentence structures were not much more difficult. The only major change was the vocabulary. This is why we call it a checklist. You can literally look at your emails or your meeting notes and check if you can swap a basic word for a senior word. It is one of the fastest ways to change how people perceive you at work.
I want to emphasize that for our listeners. You do not need to learn incredibly complex grammar to sound more professional. You need to be more intentional with your word choices. When you use words like execute, ensure, and facilitate, you are telling your colleagues that you understand the professional context of your work. You are showing them that you are an expert.
Exactly. And remember, because this is the Everyday English podcast, we want you to practice this in a way that fits into your daily life. You don't need to change every word at once. If you try to change 10 words in one day, you might feel overwhelmed and your speech might feel unnatural.
That is very true. We always talk about building fluency step by step. So here's our challenge for you today. Pick just one word from our checklist. Maybe it is the word execute instead of do, or ensure instead of make sure. Use that one word today. Use it in an email, use it in a conversation, or just say it out loud to yourself while you are commuting.
That is a perfect next step. Just one word. Once that word feels natural, come back to this episode and pick another one. Over time, these senior words will become your new normal. You will find that you aren't thinking about the basic words anymore. The professional words will come to you first. That is what real fluency looks like in a professional setting.
Before we wrap up, I want to remind everyone that if you enjoyed this lesson and want more deep dives into business English, travel English, or daily life English, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. It helps us know what topics are most important to you, and it helps other English learners find our community.
We are so happy to be part of your English learning journey. Remember, you already have the skills and the experience in your field. Now, you are just giving yourself the professional English voice to match. You are doing the hard work of learning every day, and that is something to be very proud of.
It really is. Thank you for spending this time with us today. We know you are busy, and we appreciate you choosing the Everyday English podcast for your listening practice. We hope this senior vocabulary checklist gives you a boost of confidence in your next meeting.
Go out there and use your new words with confidence. You are an expert, and now you have the vocabulary to prove it. We will be back tomorrow with more real conversations and clear explanations to help you live your life in English.
Have a productive and confident day, everyone. Goodbye.
Goodbye! Everyone, remember to take that one-word challenge today. We will see you in the next episode.
One last thing, Sarah. For those who want to really push themselves, they could try writing a short paragraph in the comments using 3 of our senior words. We can look at them and give some feedback.
That is a wonderful idea, Mark. If you write a paragraph using 3 words from the checklist, we will do our best to check it and see if you use them in the correct professional context. It's a great way to get some writing practice along with your listening.
Exactly. Use it or lose it, as they say. Let's see those professional paragraphs in the comments.
We can't wait to read them. Until next time, keep practicing, keep listening, and keep growing. Your fluency is closer than you think.
Well said, Sarah. See you all soon.
Bye for now.
Bye.